Imagine myself setting foot on an Amish homestead, a location where the air smells earthy and fresh, noticeably free from the usual agricultural chemicals. The fields stretch out broadly, groups of chickens wander without restriction, and a profound sense of tranquility fills the atmosphere, as if the location exists in a time preceding vaccines, antibiotics, and countless chemical treatments. While factory farms rely heavily on vaccines, chemicals, and endless machinery to maintain operations, one might wonder how the Amish possibly succeed without all that. The solution is found in a captivating combination of traditional knowledge, careful observation, and a significant amount of diligent work. The Amish perspective on chicken health resembles a marathon more than a quick race. They perceive health as something cultivated over time, starting quite literally from the soil itself. To begin, they give soil health considerable attention. Healthy soil leads to healthy plants, which ultimately means healthier chickens. Rather than employing chemical fertilizers, the Amish utilize crop rotations, composting, and natural fertilizers to ensure their soil remains vibrant with life. This might appear as a minor point, but it's comparable to the distinction between cooking a meal from scratch and using a microwave. Soil rich in life yields plants with superior nutrition, and these plants become the natural sustenance for their chickens. There are no unnecessary ingredients in an Amish chicken's diet. They consume directly from nature's offerings without any artificial fillers needed. Some Amish farmers go so far as to ferment grains, providing their chickens with a probiotic enhancement, almost as if they operate a small kombucha station for their flock. One might chuckle at the image of a chicken contentedly pecking at probiotic grains, yet these uncomplicated decisions bolster their immune systems and aid in defending against common illnesses. Stepping back, it becomes apparent that the Amish minimize reliance on chance. Their entire farm structure operates like an extensive natural healthcare arrangement. Consider their chicken coops, for instance. These structures are designed with ventilation in mind, allowing abundant fresh air and sunlight while remaining clean and dry. You won't find overcrowded, dimly lit pens here. Amish chickens inhabit coops engineered to prevent bacteria from establishing a comfortable presence. And when Amish chickens begin to appear unwell, there isn't an immediate rush for injections or pills. Instead, they possess a variety of natural remedies at the ready, ranging from adding garlic, a recognized immune enhancer, to their drinking water, to using apple cider vinegar as a natural cleaning agent and health tonic. They maintain simplicity while achieving effectiveness. I once attempted to ward off a cold using garlic tea, and I must say, it wasn't the most pleasant-tasting choice I've ever made. However, the Amish adhere to these natural options, transmitting these methods through generations, much like family recipes. Amish farms embody a sort of secret recipe for clean, orderly spaces that seem entirely removed from modern agricultural operations. There's no hurried pace or the incessant drone of machinery. Instead, a consistent rhythm underlies everything, as though the farm itself possesses a vital sign. Step inside and you'll observe one prominent aspect. Everything has its designated place. Coops are tidy, pathways are clear, and the aroma, well, it's about as fresh as one can expect on a farm. This is no coincidence either. Amish farmers maintain that a clean, well-organized environment constitutes the primary defense against diseases, especially for chickens, which can be more susceptible to unclean conditions than we might realize. Airflow is also highly valued here. Walk towards an Amish coop, and you won't encounter the standard enclosed boxes or stuffy pens. These coops are constructed to facilitate airflow. The Amish ensure that fresh air circulates naturally, permitting chickens to live in a space that's well ventilated and doesn't trap bacteria. Amish coops frequently incorporate open designs or windows positioned optimally, allowing light and air to permeate without causing drafts. This arrangement not only hinders dampness, a fertile ground for bacteria, but it also preserves a natural and airy ambiance, a kind of open-plan workspace for chickens, minus the cubicles. In a manner of speaking, the Amish have grasped what some contemporary farmers might disregard: content. Comfortable chickens are healthier chickens. Birds raised in such well-ventilated areas with ample natural light are less inclined to suffer from respiratory ailments, which can pose a significant challenge in confined, dark settings. A study even indicated that chickens in clean, airy environments experienced almost 40% fewer respiratory problems. That represents a considerable benefit. It's almost as if the farm's layout itself serves as a natural immune system booster, and the commitment doesn't cease with the Coops. The Amish exceed basic cleanliness with a level of devotion that some of us might reserve for annual spring cleaning. They aren't utilizing high-tech vacuums or power washers either. No, it all comes down to traditional hard work and astute planning. Every few days, they replace the bedding, clear out droppings, and maintain things as immaculately as possible. Pests such as rodents and insects, which can transmit diseases, have minimal opportunity here. Feed is stored with care, and any waste is composted or taken away to prevent attracting undesired guests. The outcome is an environment where bacteria and disease find it difficult to establish themselves. It's easy to perceive the wisdom here. The Amish aren't just cleaning for appearances, they are cultivating a home where diseases are far less probable to take hold initially. It's prevention integrated into the design, a straightforward strategy that is both potent and sustainable. And while the rest of us may not have our own chicken coops requiring cleaning, there's certainly merit in giving our own spaces a thorough scrubbing from time to time. The Amish don't approach the selection of chicken breeds lightly. They have learned over generations that choosing a strong breed is akin to establishing a sturdy foundation for a house. It simply makes everything subsequent easier. While many commercial farms focus entirely on achieving the largest meat birds or the highest egg counts, the Amish pursue a different strategy, selecting robust breeds that can withstand both challenging weather and common germs without needing a nearby pharmacy. These chickens aren't just bred for their output, they are chosen for their inherent toughness. It's somewhat like selecting a vehicle known for its durability, something that won't require a mechanic constantly, or in this context, a breed that won't demand veterinary visits every time there's a strong wind. The only product we will ever promote on our channel is a book by Claude Davis, a veteran prepper, about 126 superfoods and preservation methods from crisis times like the Great Depression and wartime that are impossible to find elsewhere. We decided to promote his book because we are the last generation able to share these techniques and superfoods to our children or grandchildren. It would be a shame to see this information about highly nutritious foods and preservation methods to survive crises disappear. You can also find a book about herbal remedies from Nicole Apelian on their store. If you're watching this on TV, you can look up our channel Frugal Solutions on your phone or tablet and find the books by clicking the link in our channel description or any other video description. Some of the breeds the Amish commonly prefer, like the Rhode Island Red, aren't merely hardy. They possess a natural capacity to ward off illness that far surpasses the average chicken. Rhode Island Reds, for instance, are celebrated for their durable health and adaptability. They represent the farm equivalent of those individuals who rarely seem to fall ill, even when surrounded by sickness. In a way, these chickens are like the athletes among poultry. The Amish let nature take its course by choosing birds originating from strong, healthy genetic lines. It's a natural selection process based on fitness, requiring no vaccinations, only good old-fashioned robustness. In contrast, commercial farms typically select high-yield breeds engineered to produce maximal meat or eggs within a short duration. The issue is that these chickens often lack the immune resilience inherent in more traditional breeds. It represents the difference between a well-rounded athlete and a bodybuilder who finds climbing stairs difficult. One is built for durability, the other for a very specific objective. Much like the contrast between a pickup truck and a sports car, the Amish breeds may not be the most eye-catching, but they are designed to perform reliably, even in adverse conditions. Hardy breeds not only contribute to a stronger flock, but also lessen the need for interventions. When you possess an entire group of chickens that naturally resist diseases, the likelihood of an outbreak affecting the entire coop is considerably reduced. And let's be frank, a chicken with innate immunity is far simpler to care for than one constantly vulnerable to illness. When you get down to basics, it's about employing intelligence over sheer effort. If you choose a breed that is naturally resilient, you're already mitigating a great deal of future work. The Amish might not articulate efficiency in the same manner as modern business professionals, but they embody it in their practices. Personally, I would much rather have a barn housing sturdy Rhode Island Reds than delicate birds that require something akin to feathered bubble wrap merely to survive the season. It serves as a reminder that sometimes simplicity and toughness are intrinsically linked. The Amish comprehend that no living creature flourishes in cramped conditions, and that principle extends to chickens. On Amish farms, you won't observe chickens confined in tiny cages or even restricted to small enclosures. Instead, these birds receive a full measure of the great outdoors, spending their days roaming freely about the yard, scratching at the soil, and even extending their wings. Yes, chickens appreciate a proper stretch. It constitutes a system that surpasses merely providing them adequate room. It involves respecting their innate need for movement and the natural advantages associated with it. Permitting chickens to roam freely accomplishes more than just fostering happy birds. Research indicates that free-range chickens are healthier than their confined counterparts by a significant margin. In fact, studies suggest that chickens afforded ample space experience up to 50% fewer respiratory issues. They exhibit lower stress levels, too, which might seem inconsequential, but stress is a major determinant of animal health. Ponder it. If you were confined within a closet throughout the day, you would likely begin to feel somewhat unwell yourself. The Amish reason that if slightly more space can maintain their chickens' health, it warrants the extra effort. In contrast, commercial farms frequently house birds packed so densely that they scarcely have room to move, let alone forage. This intense confinement facilitates the rapid transmission of diseases, and with numerous birds sharing the identical space, the necessity for antibiotics increases substantially. However, the Amish perceive no justification for accepting those risks, so they allow their chickens to engage in typical chicken activities, scratching around, foraging, and flapping their wings periodically. It resembles choosing between participating in a marathon and remaining stationary all day. It isn't challenging to deduce which option promotes better long-term health. This open-range approach also signifies that chickens can forage for natural items such as insects, seeds, and weeds. This introduces variety into their diet and assists them in remaining physically active, thereby strengthening their immune systems. It's analogous to a combination of a gym and a buffet, all integrated into one. No gym membership required, and certainly no monthly charges. Chickens on an Amish farm experience a life closer to their natural state in the wild, which cultivates their inherent resistance to diseases. Of course, free-range existence does entail a few risks. There's always the possibility that a chicken could wander somewhat too far, or that a cunning fox might find its way onto the farm. Yet, the Amish regard these as natural challenges rather than grounds for confining their flocks. After all, farm life isn't centered on eliminating every potential risk. It's about discovering a balance between security and freedom. And realistically, if a chicken is to live its optimal life, it will require more than a mere few square feet to designate as its own. For the Amish, it's evident chickens merit the right to roam, and in exchange, they gain healthier birds with fewer health problems and considerably more personality. Regarding keeping their chickens healthy, Amish farmers possess a few techniques that most modern farms would not even consider. Disregard lab-created tonics and artificial boosters. The Amish turn to natural remedies transmitted from one generation to the subsequent one. And it's quite fascinating, and occasionally quirky, to observe what they utilize. Garlic, for example, stands out as a popular choice. Amish farmers introduce a few cloves of garlic into their chickens' water supply as an immune enhancer. Call it a diminutive yet potent natural antibiotic. While garlic-infused water might not sound appealing to us, chickens appear entirely indifferent to it. And honestly, if a little garlic contributes to keeping the flock safe and healthy, who is complaining? It's like their personal homemade chicken health smoothie. But garlic isn't the solitary component in their natural remedy collection. Herbs such as oregano and thyme are also reliable companions on Amish farms. Oregano exhibits antibacterial properties, and thyme possesses a reputation for combating infections. Consequently, you'll find Amish farmers incorporating these herbs into their chickens' feed, particularly during the colder seasons. In a sense, it's analogous to how we might increase our vitamin C intake during winter, except these chickens receive a small sprinkle of fresh herbs instead. And indeed, the Amish have been practicing this long before herbal wellness emerged as a trend. It's amusing to consider that what is now deemed a high-end wellness treatment was simply practical knowledge on Amish farms a century ago. Naturally, these remedies aren't magical solutions, but they are integral to a broader conviction that natural approaches, methods validated by time, are frequently the most effective. Vinegar serves as another illustration. The Amish employ it not solely as a natural disinfectant, but also as a digestive support for chickens. Apple cider vinegar is often introduced into chicken water because it promotes gut health and helps balance pH levels, thereby creating an environment less conducive for harmful bacteria to thrive. Some might assert that apple cider vinegar represents the ultimate Amish farm essential, and for anyone who has reluctantly swallowed a spoonful of it for health purposes, it's comforting to know that, at least, the chickens seem to appreciate it. The resourcefulness of the Amish is remarkable. They don't perceive a need for costly chemicals or sophisticated treatments. Instead, they depend on straightforward, natural ingredients that they frequently cultivate directly on their own land. It functions like a miniature ecosystem of farm-to-table remedies, signifying no reliance on large pharmaceutical corporations and no unfamiliar additives. When discussing cleanliness, the Amish are not casual about it. For them, a chicken coop isn't merely a location to distribute some feed and hope for positive outcomes. It resembles the most immaculate and efficiently run hotel you've ever encountered. Amish farmers approach hygiene with extreme seriousness, and it is evident from co-op floors swept on a daily basis to feeding areas maintained spotlessly to prevent everything from contamination to minor pest incursions. You won't discover any rodent dwellings or spider hideouts here. In fact, these coops appear so fresh, it almost seems inviting enough to pull up a chair and relax for a bit, although that might be stretching the point somewhat. One of the strategies they utilize involves ensuring everything remains dry. Moisture can facilitate bacterial accumulation, which can severely impact a flock. The Amish recognize that a dry setting translates to fewer respiratory problems, and they accomplish this through open, well-aerated coops that permit appropriate ventilation. That invigorating country air doesn't just keep the atmosphere smelling pleasant, it actively promotes the chicken's health. And if achieving that ideal airflow necessitates positioning the coop precisely, they are fully committed to it. However, it isn't solely about the coop's location. Routine cleaning is also fundamental. Amish farmers regularly remove old bedding and waste, substituting it with fresh materials. While most of us might find it challenging just to maintain a clean kitchen countertop, the Amish ensure their coops are pristine. I can't help but compare this to my own modest attempts at controlling dust. These farmers could offer some of us a genuine lesson in commitment, and their efforts don't conclude with cleaning the coops. Amish farmers take an additional step by meticulously storing feed and other supplies to deter pests. Instead of employing high-tech rodent traps or automated pest deterrents, they rely on proven, traditional methods, sealing feed bags securely and keeping anything edible off the ground. It's a simple, effective strategy, and it appears to be highly successful. Whereas most farms might experience regular encounters with rodents, the Amish ensure that any inquisitive creatures reconsider before establishing residency. The Amish take their cleanliness so seriously that it's almost infectious. I once learned that keeping a chicken coop clean can reduce disease transmission by up to 80%, a significant incentive, correct? It represents a level of dedication that extends beyond maintaining tidiness. It's a form of prevention in itself, halting diseases before they even have an opportunity to manifest. And they accomplish all this without resorting to high-powered vacuums, pressure washers, or other sophisticated tools. Just a broom, a shovel, and considerable physical effort. Observing the Amish operate with such attention to cleanliness and detail prompts reflection on how something as elementary as a well-swept coop can create a substantial difference. It serves as a reminder that even though we possess abundant technology and convenience, sometimes the simplest methods prove most effective. Additionally, those chickens probably appreciate the luxurious treatment more than we will ever realize. Regarding diet, Amish chickens experience a high standard of living, at least concerning poultry cuisine. Forget the inexpensive fillers and processed feeds utilized in some contemporary farms. The Amish prioritize quality directly, employing feed that keeps their chickens not merely satiated, but also healthy. They are committed to clean, nutritious food, free from additives, chemicals, or peculiar ingredients one cannot even pronounce. And if you perceive your cereal as somewhat bland without some sugar added, you'd likely feel similarly about how Amish chickens consume wholesome grains and absolutely none of the undesirable extras. These birds effectively live what most of us would describe as the organic lifestyle, only superior, because they have Amish farmers ensuring every meal contributes positively. The Amish also provide their chickens with fermented grains, which function like probiotics to enhance digestion and boost immunity. That fermentation procedure might sound like a sophisticated trick, and admittedly, it somewhat is, but the concept itself is rather straightforward. By incorporating fermented grains into their diet, the Amish supply their chickens with the gut health support they require, enabling their natural defenses to operate effectively without the need for antibiotics. If you've ever tried kombucha or sauerkraut and observed the resulting energized sensation in your stomach, you comprehend the principle. Same concept, different species. The amusing aspect here is that these chickens are essentially food critics, nibbling on wholesome grains, fermented delicacies, and even herbs that the Amish sometimes integrate to enhance immunity. Can you conceive of it? Meanwhile, many of us are deliberating between ramen noodles or a hastily prepared peanut butter sandwich. These chickens are practically eating better than we are, and they prosper because of it. By concentrating on simple, nutrient-dense foods, Amish farmers prioritize health for their flock, resulting in fewer illnesses and stronger birds. Feeding for immunity represents a traditional approach that is logically sound. A healthy chicken is a resilient chicken, less susceptible to illness and more likely to yield quality eggs and meat. And the evidence is apparent, or rather, in the feed trough. What the Amish are achieving is dedicating that additional time and care to place genuinely health-enhancing food on the table, providing their chickens a robust foundation from the inside out. Among the secrets ensuring Amish chickens remain contentedly clucking is a straightforward, well-regarded household staple: apple cider vinegar. Amish farmers strongly advocate for it, adding a small quantity to their chickens' water as a low-cost yet potent method to support digestion and overall health. Now, if you find yourself wondering how this common kitchen item transformed into a health enhancer for poultry, it's actually quite an intelligent application. Apple cider vinegar contains acetic acid, which not only eliminates bacteria, but also encourages a balanced gut environment. Chickens with healthy digestive systems are less prone to falling ill, and they possess a greater capacity to combat any harmful elements that might arise. It's comparable to equipping them with a minuscule shield with every drink. Using apple cider vinegar in chicken water might sound like something novel from a wellness publication, but the Amish have practiced this long before health trends became widespread. In fact, vinegar's benefits have been recognized as far back as ancient Rome, where soldiers utilized it for cleaning wounds and improving the quality of drinking water. The Amish, however, have adopted this ancient wisdom and integrated it into their daily care regimen for livestock. And while they aren't necessarily purchasing the organic small-batch variety from the local wellness store, they have discovered that even a minimal amount can be highly effective. When you introduce a splash into the chicken's water, it lowers the water's pH, establishing a less favorable setting for detrimental bacteria. It's a fundamental concept, yet remarkable in its simplicity, much like numerous other Amish practices. Let's be honest, apple cider vinegar seems to function as the versatile tool among natural remedies. Dealing with a sore throat? Try vinegar. Need to clean your counter? Vinegar. Desire lustrous hair? You've deduced correctly. Vinegar. And now, the chickens also benefit from this multi-purpose trend. In a way, it serves as a reminder that health doesn't always necessitate intricate solutions. With vinegar incorporated into their routine, Amish chickens demonstrate increased resilience and are less susceptible to the digestive and respiratory problems that sometimes affect other flocks. One ingenious method the Amish utilize in their coops involves a powder that sounds as if it could originate from a science fiction narrative: diatomaceous earth. Don't allow the sophisticated name to deceive you, though. This substance is about as elementary and natural as possible. Created from the fossilized remnants of minute aquatic organisms, diatomaceous earth constitutes the Amish's preferred tool for keeping pests like mites and lice away from their chickens. It's safe for the birds but lethal to tiny intruders, rendering it an ideal pest control solution devoid of any harsh chemicals. Essentially, it's nature's own microscopic pest eliminator, and the Amish apply it within the coops and even in the chickens' designated dust bath areas. For the chickens, engaging in a dust bath with diatomaceous earth is akin to receiving a luxury spa treatment that includes a built-in bug repellent. Employing diatomaceous earth in the coop is like stationing a silent security guard against pests. The powder operates by damaging the exoskeletons of insects, leading to dehydration and eventual elimination, all without the application of potent insecticides. It's amusing to observe chickens instinctively knowing how to perform a dust bath, skillfully flicking the earth around like professionals, spreading it onto every feather, and giving lice or mites a challenging experience if they dare approach. And they appear to enjoy every moment of it. Witnessing chickens kicking up dust and wiggling their feathers to apply their insect repellent is one of those simple farm scenes that makes you realize they possess considerable knowledge about self-care. With diatomaceous earth present, the Amish rarely need to concern themselves with lice or mites overtaking the coop, which can lead to stress and ultimately illness within the flock. And since pests are responsible for transmitting diseases, keeping them away naturally represents one of the simplest and most effective measures Amish farmers take to maintain their chickens' health. Unlike chemical sprays that frequently leave behind residues, diatomaceous earth is non-toxic and can be used as needed without risk to the chickens, humans, or even the environment. It's a low-cost, minimal-effort solution, and the best aspect, no waiting period for fumes to dissipate or concerns about contamination. Diatomaceous earth may sound technical, but it serves as just another illustration of the Amish preference for natural, safe, and sustainable farming practices, methods that also happen to keep the chickens content and free from pests. One of the notable practices of Amish farmers involves their deep personal connection with their chickens. These farmers don't simply raise birds, they cultivate a relationship with them. It's not uncommon for an Amish farmer to know their flock so intimately that they can detect a hint of illness merely by observing a subtle alteration in behavior. It's comparable to having a sixth sense, but instead of perceiving spirits, they can identify a chicken that isn't behaving typically. You might say they possess a cluck radar, enabling them to tune into the minor nuances that indicate a chicken's state of well-being. Consider, for instance, a scenario where a chicken might appear slightly inactive. The average individual might just assume that bird is experiencing a sluggish day. However, an Amish farmer would likely think, "Uh-oh, something isn't right." They might notice that the chicken isn't scratching the ground as usual, or perhaps it's remaining solitary instead of mingling with the flock. Those subtle indications can mean the difference between early intervention and a potential widespread issue. I recall a time when my cat was acting somewhat unusually. I sat there contemplating whether she was simply having a comfortable day or if she was genuinely sick. I checked for symptoms like lethargy and loss of appetite, all while questioning if I was merely being an overprotective pet owner. A trip to the vet ultimately revealed she had an ear infection. If only I possessed the instincts of an Amish farmer. They have a proficiency for quickly determining if something is amiss without excessive speculation. Their capacity to evaluate the flock's health originates from years of experience and an intuitive comprehension of their animals. It's not solely about distinguishing which chicken is which. It involves recognizing the small idiosyncrasies that make each bird distinct. And let's be truthful, each chicken possesses its own personality. Some are bold and inquisitive, while others are shy and reserved. Knowing these personalities permits Amish farmers to personalize their care and respond swiftly to changes. In contrast, many modern farms cannot afford the luxury of this personal interaction. With hundreds or even thousands of chickens, it's nearly impossible for farmers to provide individual attention to each one. This can result in issues going unnoticed until they escalate into more severe problems. It's akin to attempting to manage a classroom of boisterous children. If you fail to monitor the ones who are being unusually quiet, they might be the ones encountering trouble. The fundamental point is that the Amish approach incorporates a level of awareness and attentiveness frequently absent in modern farming. This personal touch doesn't just prevent disease, it cultivates a sense of community and trust within the flock. And when you treat your chickens like members of the family, they tend to flourish. Concerning chicken coops, the Amish utilize an ingenious method that is as practical as it is uncomplicated. They employ sand for bedding. Now, you might initially think, sand for chickens? However, it turns out this choice is highly advantageous. Unlike traditional bedding materials like straw or wood shavings, which retain moisture and create a breeding ground for bacteria, sand remains dry. And dryness is beneficial, very beneficial. Bacteria flourish in damp conditions, so using sand helps discourage that unwanted microbial proliferation right within your coop. Many individuals might not realize that chickens are quite sensitive regarding their environment. A clean, dry space results in happier, healthier birds, which translates to fewer health problems down the line. In fact, studies have demonstrated that bacterial growth can be significantly reduced in sand bedding compared to other materials. Who knew a small expanse of sand could be so effective? Cleaning up is another advantage of the sand bedding method. It's dissimilar to cleaning a litter box, where you find yourself sifting through unpleasant clumps. Instead, with sand, you can simply rake it out. It's an effortless process that conserves time and energy. Think of it as a beach day for the chickens, excluding the sunscreen. And let's be straightforward, even the most meticulous farmer can appreciate a quicker cleanup routine. Furthermore, chickens are natural foragers and they enjoy digging around. Sand permits them to do precisely that, engaging in their natural behaviors while promoting improved foot health. It's like providing them with their personal miniature beach resort where they can scratch, peck, and yes, even take a dust bath. If I had to select between a monotonous backyard and a sandy escape, I know where I would prefer to spend my days. Utilizing sand can also aid in temperature regulation within the coop. On hot days, sand absorbs heat without becoming stifling, allowing chickens to remain cooler. Conversely, during colder months, sand can retain warmth, offering a cozy spot for the flock to congregate. Quite a versatile bedding option. Imagine if all of us possessed such luxurious accommodations. While I might occasionally wish to exchange my bed for a sandy beach, the chickens certainly deserve to feel as though they are on a permanent vacation, living their best lives, all attributable to a bit of sand and some thoughtful care from their Amish farmers. This commitment to a healthy environment ensures that these birds thrive, making it evident that sometimes the simplest solutions can yield the best outcomes. While the Amish method of raising chickens is impressive, it's crucial to acknowledge that even the most effective systems experience occasional difficulties. Just like life itself, farming can present unforeseen challenges that even the most experienced farmers cannot anticipate. There have been instances where diseases appeared in flocks despite the meticulous care Amish farmers provide. It serves as a reminder that nature operates under its own set of rules and sometimes it doesn't conform to our plans. Consider, for example, the infrequent outbreaks of avian influenza or respiratory diseases. Regardless of how clean the coop might be or how healthy the feed is, these challenges can emerge. The Amish understand this circumstance all too well. They accept that, despite their holistic methods, there are moments when disease may occur. It's a stark reality that every farmer must confront. This isn't some idealized farm setting where everything operates perfectly at all times. It's genuine life, with all its unpredictable elements. When sickness does unfortunately manifest, Amish farmers are required to make challenging decisions. Sometimes this entails isolating or even culling affected birds to protect the remainder of the flock. It's comparable to being compelled to relinquish your favorite sweater because it possesses a persistent stain. No one wishes to do it, yet it's essential for the overall welfare. In a way, it reflects the Amish commitment to the health of the entire community, whether animal or human. The significant aspect is that these setbacks do not cause the Amish to surrender in despair. They regard it as part of the learning process associated with farming. This resilience speaks volumes about their patience and dedication to their work. They embrace the concept that farming represents a long-term endeavor, one that necessitates constant adaptation and a readiness to confront challenges directly. Just as my grandmother used to assert, even the most carefully laid plans can encounter deviations. This principle holds true in farming as well. You might believe you have everything resolved, but nature possesses a curious ability to keep you alert. It somewhat resembles attempting to assemble IKEA furniture. You might be convinced you understand the instructions, yet somehow you conclude with a surplus screw and a component that doesn't seem to fit anywhere. At the end of the day, the Amish approach to chicken farming imparts lessons regarding patience, persistence, and the acceptance of setbacks as inherent parts of the journey. They continually press onward, learning from each experience and adjusting their methods accordingly.